This is a photoresistor, and how it works is when light hits it, then the resistance decreases. When it's dark and you block the light, the resistance increases. Show you real quick. So we have, what's that say, 2.6 K ohms, 2.6 thousand ohms, roughly. And then when we block the light, 30,000 ohms or so. So that's how that works. So we are going to use that to control a transistor here. It's a 2N2222 transistor. So what happens is when you have a low resistance here, then you have a low voltage. When it's dark and the resistance increases, then you have a higher voltage here at the base of the transistor, and that will turn on the transistor, and current will flow through the transistor. And then here on the positive side of the relay, you will see a positive voltage from up here. This is your plus voltage up here. So when it's dark, you get a higher voltage here, turns on the transistor, and then you get a positive voltage here. And we have a variable resistor right here. That's what this is. That is a 100,000 ohm resistor, and it's adjustable to adjust for your light sensitivity on there. On the top of this, if you can see the numbers there, it says 104, which means 1 0 and then 1 2 3 4 zeros after that. So that's how you get 100,000 ohms, or you can write it as 100K ohms. So that turns on the relay, and then the plus 12 is also going through one set of the relays here to give you plus 12 over here, or else this is just an isolated relay. So if you had something that was AC, or something that was a different voltage than the 12 volts and you just wanted to have isolated, you can use these two terminals here. So these are the two that are switched, and these are the two that are isolated, the two pins that are isolated. Now, if you don't have a photoresistor and you don't want to order a package of 100 like I did, you can go to your dollar store and get one of these. It's a night light, and on the front there is a photoresistor. So there's probably 2 screws in here. You just break it apart or whatever, and basically you get this. There's your photoresistor, and the bonus is you get a LED out of it too. So we're going to use this in a voltage divider circuit to turn on a transistor here. And when you turn on the transistor, it's going to turn on the relay. Now how the transistor works is when you have a voltage on the base that's high enough, it'll turn it on, and it'll act kind of as a short and allow the current to flow through. So your photoresistor is right here, and right here is a variable resistor. That's a 100,000 ohm resistor, or 100K. So that's going to go there, and that's going to go there. So when there's light on this, it's kind of a short, so you have a very low voltage. When it's dark, then you have a higher voltage there. The higher voltage turns on a transistor, which puts the plus 12 here on the relay and turns on the relay. Now I also have the plus 12 tied to a pole of the relay, so then that'll switch. You're normally closed and that's your normally open. So it'll put plus 12 over here, and that's your negative still. This is the relay that I use. This is just a isolated relay, so you can connect like an AC input or something, or if you have something that's different than 12 volts, if you want to use an isolated voltage to control something else, you can use it. That's just an extra that I put in there. And then of course you have a diode here on the relay to prevent reverse voltage. So the parts here, like I said, that's a 100,000 ohm variable resistor. That's your photoresistor. This is a 2N2222 transistor. This is the relay right there. It's the diode right there. And I'm using these terminal blocks on the board. You don't have to use them. If you want to build this and just have the wires, you know, soldered directly to the board, you can do that. That's just fine. And these are the boards that I use to make this. Well, you can use something like this if you don't know how to etch a board, or like this. Maybe I'll do a video on how to make a PC board. So I'll show you how this works when it's all hooked up. We have to solder some leads on this and put some shrink tubing on it to make sure that we don't short anything out, and of course make sure we have enough wire to work with. We have some 3/64 shrink tubing. This is basically a resistor, so there's no positive and negative side. You just want to make sure you get this shrink tubing all the way up there so nothing shorts out. This is like 22 gauge wire. If you need something really thin, I pull like a USB cable or a keyboard or a mouse cable, and you get some really thin wire here if you need that. That's like 28 gauge or something. So if you want to do this on your HO track, of course you would have your track laid down pretty much where you want it and figure out where you want your sensor. I'm going to put it like right about here. So you want that to go in between two of the rails there. And what we're going to do is mark where we want it. And I'm using a silver Sharpie. You can use a Sharpie. You can count your number of railroad ties, whatever you want to do. What you don't want to do is use a drill bit and try and drill that out, because you're going to just break these ties and make a mess out of it. So mark that. You want your photo sensor to sit down in there a little bit. So we're going to take that out, and then we're going to take a round file and we're going to carefully file that out like that. So I got that installed, and you just want to make sure that it's kind of level with the top of the track. You don't want it coming up too high so it derails your trains. but you want it kind of recessed in there. I kind of missed the center on that. And be careful you don't drill too big of a hole, because you want to make sure that that doesn't fall down in there. And then you could just use whatever your favorite glue is, hot glue or epoxy or whatever you want to use. Just make sure you don't get any glue on the top of that sensor. If you're going to put one of these in your Lionel track, you're going to want to use a rubber washer or a neoprene faucet washer or some kind of a plastic washer, because of the height of the track. If the photoresistor is down too low, you'll get shadows and it'll always look like it's in the dark. So you can see how it works from there. And you know, if you need to adjust it, you may even want to put that up a little bit higher. Just be careful with the glue, because you don't want to get glue on top of this and block the light. Probably best just to glue it from underneath and leave it at that. We were talking about bridge rectifiers. Right here, if you can see that, this is actually also a bridge rectifier. So that can be used also for LEDs in your trains. I also wanted to note, if you're new to electronics, or even if you're not new, I got this a long, probably about 30 years ago. Radio Shack used to sell them for like 99 cents. And they're very handy little books with all kind of circuits in there. And that's kind of where I got part of this circuit from. And they put out another book which combines a whole bunch of these. It's called Getting Started in Electronics by this Forrest M. Mims. So I think I'm going to buy that. But yeah, these little books are very handy. And here are circuits on photoresistors in here. Okay, so let me put this on 20 volts. And if we put our ground right here and right there, we get 3 volts. Now if we slide this up, you get your 12 volts. So that is, you know, going across here, which is electrically the same point as right there. And that turns on the relay. See, if we put this right here, hopefully you can see that there's 3 volts. Turn it on, we get 12 volts on your relay. Okay, 10.6, that's enough to turn it on. Okay, so that's how that circuit works, and you can use this for anything. Doesn't have to be an LED, and I'll show you a couple other things here that we can use this for. So here's another little circuit board that I made up, connected it to the control. Any ideas what we can use that for? Maybe I'll do a video on how to make that circuit board too. Pretty simple, but. So this is something I found in a box of stuff that I bought at a train show one time. And it's supposed to be controlled by this pressure plate here in the track. And quite honestly, that's going to cause derailments. So I have no use for that. I'm going to probably cut this out and just use this part. And this uses the AC side of your transformer for accessories. That's what that's for. So this does not use DC, it uses AC. So that's why we're using this isolated pole here, this isolated connection on the relay. And it does the same thing. See if we can get a better view of that. That's supposed to light up, but the little light bulb's not lighting. But that's all right, I can fix that. Okay, thanks for watching. Let me know if you understood what I was trying to show you there, if it makes any sense to you or not. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching, and I'll try and get some more tech videos out to you. All right, take care.